It's slow TV radio.
What? What are you talking about?
Welcome to Round the Table from the Meeting Point, Bilbao. Broadcasting not only to Bilbao, but throughout the world. And in today's programme, we are discussing comparisons. We also have a long list of similes to discuss. And later on, we've got a very brief what's the difference. And then we'll be discussing an interesting word.
So, what's been the topic this week, Richard?
Well, this week we have been discussing comparison. Comparison, and more specifically, the curse of comparison.
Oh, what's that?
That is the idea that we spend too much time comparing ourselves to other people, and it doesn't have many beneficial effects. It tends to have a more negative effect on us. Basically, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah. That links to our previous week. The grass is always greener, isn't it?
Yeah. It's precisely that. It connected very well to last week's conversation, really. And we were talking about how if you view other people's lives, you don't really see the full picture. And with social media, people are always portraying themselves on the beach drinking cocktails with a beautiful sunset behind them. And you never see people in their pyjamas in the morning with their hair all messed up.
Yeah.
Eating muesli, for example.
Yeah.
They take photographs of their food, but only when they go to really expensive restaurants or when they've got a big steak in front of them. But they never photograph normal food or themselves in normal situations.
Yeah. I guess in the past, publicity was doing that role, yeah?
Yeah, advertising does the same thing, and television in general. Yeah. It, especially advertising, because they always show perfect families, don't they?
Yeah.
With their wonderful houses and their, everyone's happy, and you never see
Magnificent car.
Yeah, and when the family comes down for breakfast, everyone's really white and clean and smiling and laughing, and no one's looking miserable and shouting at each other and saying, "Turn that radio down. Eat your breakfast. Go to school."
But it's very difficult not to compare to the others, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it's a natural thing to do.
The problem is when you look at people better off than you instead of those who are worse.
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing. We're so exposed to the lives of the rich and famous and this portrayal of everyone's life being so wonderful that we're always looking up, as it were. We're always looking at people who have more than us. They've got bigger houses and better jobs and happier families and beautiful partners and that kind of thing. Whereas we never compare ourselves to what we could be if we didn't have, what we've got.
Yeah.
And we should be more grateful for the things we do have.
Yeah, I think that's the key, really, to look at what you've got and be grateful. And I think we are very lucky, really.
Yeah.
Very, very lucky.
Oh, yeah, even if we compared ourselves to previous generations, if your grandparents could come and see the way we live now, we live a life of luxury compared to them.
Yeah.
Because when was the last time we went to the fridge and there was no food?
Yeah.
We always have food in the house. And we don't have a lot of money, but we've got money. Some people don't have anything, and there's some people that go hungry, and it's like, well, you have to wait till tomorrow or the next day. So we never really have to go without. Not in the modern world. For the majority of people, don't really have to go without. But yeah, it's like these photographs that we have in the book here, which unfortunately I can't show in the video for copyright purposes. But we've got one picture of a man who's in the jungle with a tribe of pygmies who are very short people, and the European man with them appears to be very tall. Whereas in the next picture, there's a coach with a basketball team who looks very short because he's surrounded by these very, very tall people. So the point that we were illustrating here is it depends who you're comparing yourself to.
Yeah, that's that phrase. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Yeah. But we were also talking about why you never really know about other cultures. We've always got a false idea about how other cultures are and what typical life is.
But also, that's because that's what you see on TV, isn't it?
Yeah. It's all what is portrayed. Because the TV, generally, if they're talking about another culture, they don't talk about the similarities. They only talk about the differences. Which maybe the differences aren't necessarily a big part of it. They might be 99.9% the same, but it's the 0.1 that the TV program focuses on.
Yeah. It's funny that, isn't it? That...
Well, yeah, but it's understandable because if the TV company goes to Japan to make a video, to make a documentary, they're not going to make video of all the things that are the same as here.
Yeah.
They're going to look for bonsai trees, geisha girls, and sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
So when you watch the TV program, 95% of it is bonsais, geishas, and sumos.
Yeah.
But that probably doesn't represent a huge part of the life of the typical Japanese person because they're waking up, having breakfast, getting the train into the office and spending all day in front of a computer, the same as most people do.
Yeah, but that's what you expect, and that's why people like traveling, to see different cultures. And
yeah, but it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, we might call it, because if that's what you think it's going to be like, that's what you go looking for.
Yeah.
And so it confirms what you believed. So it's like when we were down in the south of Spain that time with some English friends.
Yeah.
There was a coach party of English people, and they were going to this flamenco evening, and so we got invited along. And they were saying to you, like, oh, this must be really boring because you see this all the time. And, like, you'd never seen it before.
No, it was my first time too.
We don't have a lot of flamenco in Bilbao. It's not a common thing here, is it?
Yeah.
But for them, it was a big part of their holiday in the south of Spain.
Yeah.
So they go back and it confirms that that's what it's all about. That's what Spanish people do all the time. They go to these flamenco things. And it's like I was talking to someone in the week and he said he'd never been to a bullfight, in Spain. He was a Spanish person from Bilbao. Never been to a bullfight. And I said, oh, I have. I've been to 2. And then I said, I've never seen the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace. And he said, oh, I have. So he's done all the typical English things and I've done the typical Spanish things.
Yeah. But typical...
Yeah, typical in commas. Yeah. Making the air sign there with the commas.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's because people go to another country and they want to see the typical things. That's why people go to London. And they go to see the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace, and they've got to go to Westminster and the Tower of London and Tower Bridge.
Yeah.
And people that live in London don't take any notice of that kind of thing. They just.
But it's funny that then I think people realize that's the tourism, yeah. But that they associate England with that.
With London, yeah. For most people, England is London,
Yeah. Or even Great Britain.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's the same here in Spain, isn't it? Because for most people, Spain is the south of Spain.
Yeah.
It's Seville, where there is the flamenco and stuff like that, and bullfighting does exist, but it's not on the north. The north side of Spain doesn't have all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or it's very, very limited by comparison.
Yeah, when I was working in Barnstaple, in that bread shop, do you remember I had a maid called...
Oh, yeah.
And she was from Jaén, the south of Spain. And people thought we were the same, basically. because we both were Spanish.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she was like, no, no, no. She
Yeah.
didn't like that at all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like we were saying the other day, that when you see another country, we see Italians as Italians,
Yeah.
but Italians see themselves as a whole range of different types of people from different places. For the Neapolitans, nothing like the people from
France.
Florence or up north, up around Milan, the
Toscana.
Piedmont area. I think I was thinking of. You know, where I went that time, and they were laughing about people from the south as if it was a completely different country.
Yeah, but it's funny how we can see it in our own country and we can't see it in other countries. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because we're aware of our differences. Yeah. Yeah, but it's just an easier way of controlling information is to put things in boxes.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to say, oh, these are Germans.
Yeah.
And nationality is really important in the way we analyse other people by nationality.
Yeah, for something quite new is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really important to a lot of people. Yeah. Because even when we had a discussion a while ago on life expectancies, and they were saying, in Spain it's quite a high life expectancy, but over the whole of Europe, it's like 2 years difference or 3 years difference from one country to another. But even from one side of the city to the other side, it's more than 10 years. And there's places in Bilbao that live 10 years longer than other places in Bilbao.
Yeah.
So discussing the difference between countries is kind of pointless, really.
Yeah, I think it's more related to class than nationality, really.
And again, in the class yesterday, they were talking about someone's just been to Scotland, and he said the people are really friendly. Well, the 2 or 3 people he actually spoke to were quite friendly, and someone said, "Oh, but are they more friendly than English people?" And I said, "Well, it depends where you go, because Manchester's not the same as London, and any big city is not like going to a small village."
Yeah.
They're all completely different people, and you could go somewhere and meet really nice people, or you could go somewhere and meet really unfriendly people.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, if you meet one person, they represent several million people.
Yeah, that's true. I never know what to say about English people, really, because the people I know are really friendly and polite, and so when people talk about those hooligans, as they call them, I said, well, I've never met them, so I don't really have an opinion, do I?
No, and hooligans are hooligans. Doesn't matter what country they come from.
Yeah, that's
they
what I
don't
mean.
represent the country, do they? They just represent a type of person.
Yeah,
That likes getting drunk and fighting, and it doesn't matter what country you go to, there's going to be some, isn't there? They don't represent the country.
Yeah,
but it's easier for people to think that way, isn't it?
it is, indeed.
Anyway, shall we move on and look at some of these similes?
What's a simile?
A simile is when we say something is like something, when we're comparing one thing to another. It's related to similar, I suppose.
Yeah.
So we've got lots of these similes that say as something as something. Mm-hmm. And looking at the collection that I had, I realised there are lots of them that relate to animals or how we perceive certain characteristics of animals.
Yeah.
So we've got things like as brave as a lion.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Do you have as brave as a lion in Spanish? I bet it is, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it'll be something similar. But it's the king of the jungle, so
yeah,
to be the bravest.
it's all wrong. King of the jungle. They don't live in the jungle, right? Look, a lion is not brave. Okay, they're big and strong. They got claws and teeth, and they kill zebras. Yeah. And when you got one poor defenseless zebra, yeah, and there's like 6 or 8 lions against one zebra, that's not brave. That's not brave.
So then do you think it should be as coward?
As cowardly as a lion. Anyway, the phrase is as brave as a lion.
Yeah.
Then we've got as strong as an ox.
Okay.
An ox, if you don't know, is like a working bull.
Yeah.
And bulls that are used for working, they're normally bulls. They might use females as well.
Yeah. They're strong.
Yeah. What about sly? How can you describe what sly means?
I would say it's like it's not clever, but
Yeah, there's an element of clever, but clever in a mischievous way, like trying to do something that's kind of illegal or something bad. You're doing something bad, but you're using intelligence to do something bad.
Yeah.
Sly, and what animal goes with sly then? Sly as a
Fox.
It's correct, yeah. So foxes are sly because they're always going and stealing your chickens.
Yeah.
And they do that. And what about as wise as?
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Owl. Wise as an owl, yeah.
Because they wear glasses.
Yeah. They're always depicted wearing glasses, aren't they? And wearing little teacher's hats.
Yeah.
Again, the teacher's hats that teachers never wear.
Yeah.
I've never seen a teacher wearing one of those hats. Maybe I'll get one. But yeah, that's a strange one because I was doing some research into it. And apparently that goes back to the Greeks, the ancient Greeks. They thought that owls were very clever.
Maybe they are.
Well, I guess so, yeah. They eat mice. I don't think it's that clever to eat a mouse, but there you go. So they've been depicted as being the clever animal for a long time. As weak as a kitten. As weak as a kitten.
Well,
a kitten is very weak.
Well, so are puppies.
This is true. In fact, all newborn animals are quite weak.
Yeah.
But for some reason we decided that kittens would be the one for the weak simile.
Okay.
And then we've got as proud as
Peacock.
proud as a peacock.
That's interesting.
It is, because if you think of peacocks, they're very proud, aren't they? They're always showing off, displaying.
Yeah.
Showing off, there's a phrasal verb, to show off. Next time you want to know the meaning of the verb show off, think of peacocks displaying their tails to impress the females.
It is quite impressive though, isn't it?
Yes, it's one of the great mysteries of evolution.
Yeah.
How the peacock developed a tail like that, because it's totally impractical, really.
Yeah, it's useless, yeah.
And they come from, they're jungle birds, aren't they? They live in the jungle, I think, when they're in the wild.
Yeah, not like the lions.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. Yeah, and it's a peacock. You never hear of the peahen. The female one is called a peahen.
Oh.
And they're kind of brown and boring.
Oh.
It's a strange thing with birds. The male is always the colourful one. As blind as...
Oh, we've got a different one here.
Yeah, what do you say in Spanish?
It's a mole?
Mole is the animal you say, yeah. Blind as a mole. But no, in English it's blind as a bat.
But are they blind?
No, apparently they're not. But I think people, they use a kind of echolocation by making little squeaky noises, which they can build an image. But apparently they can see, and their eyes are not so bad as we would think.
Maybe you should change that to as blind as a mole then.
Well, I think we should have blind as a mole, because at least they are blind. Yeah. The next one, as busy as. Busy as a bee. Busy as a bee. Because they're very busy, aren't they? They go around collecting pollen and making honey.
Yeah.
But it could be lots of animals are busy, aren't they?
Well, most of them are trying to survive.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Not lions, though. No. Lions are the lazy ones, because they sort of... Once they've finished eating their zebra, they lie around for a few days, don't they, digesting. Yeah. But any other animal can be busy, but it's busy as a bee.
Okay.
As stubborn as...
A mule.
A mule. That's the same as the Spanish one.
Yeah, we have the same one, yeah.
Yeah. So mules are supposed to be stubborn. I've never had any contact with mules, so I can't tell you any mule stories.
Yeah.
But I presume they're stubborn, because people always say they are.
Yeah.
The next one is dead as a dodo.
Oh.
Dead as a dodo. A dodo is that bird from Mauritius. I think the island is Mauritius.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were discovered when the first sailors arrived, and they discovered these rather fat birds, flightless birds, that were rather tasty. And they ate them all. Oh, and they introduced other animals as well. I think the fact that they took rats with them, took over the island. So, and as the flightless birds nested on the ground, the rats were a big problem. And yeah, they just evolved without any predators. So they were these fat, flightless, kind of stupid birds. And they all got eaten. They didn't last very long after the first people arrived. So dead as a dodo. And there's one in Alice in Wonderland. Somebody was telling me that it's something to do with the name of the writer of Alice in Wonderland. His name was Dodson or something like that. And he had a stutter and he couldn't pronounce his name properly when he was younger. So there's a connection with the dodo and Dodson. I think he's called Dodson, something like that. He used a different name when he wrote, but his real name was Dodson. Anyway, then we've got some interesting ones coming up. You'll like these. The next one is as pleased as. Pleased as a dog with two tails. A dog with two tails. I think that's fantastic. Because I don't think a dog would be pleased about having two tails. The fact that dogs wag their tail, they're not happy about wagging their tail. They wag their tail because they're happy. So having two tails doesn't make the dog any more pleased, really.
Yeah.
But maybe it's best not to analyse these similes too much.
Yeah, yeah.
So as pleased as a dog with two tails, that's quite good. And another good animal one is as poor as a church mouse.
I can see that. Yeah.
Not just a mouse, but a church mouse.
Yeah.
And I suppose that if a mouse lives in your house, there's food, isn't there? Like they come in, they can find bits of food to eat, but I suppose people don't eat in a church.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why as poor as a church mouse, because if you're a mouse, it's the worst place to live.
Yeah, because it's like spotless, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not much to eat there.
Nothing.
Yeah, as poor as a church mouse. The next one is rare as hen's teeth. As rare as hen's teeth.
I've never heard that.
Well, obviously, hens don't have teeth.
Well, no.
Birds generally don't have teeth.
Yeah.
Some do have something similar to teeth. A goose, for example.
Oh.
They've got something, they're not really teeth, but inside their beak they've got little serrated edges. So, Anyway, hens definitely don't have teeth. That's why it is as rare as hen's teeth.
Yeah. What else we have?
Snug. We got the next one is snug. Snug is like comfortable in a small area. So if you've got a very small house with lots of cushions and a nice fire and it's nice and warm and cosy and comfortable.
It sounds like that. Snug.
Yeah, there used to be little rooms in pubs as well, like little private rooms were called snugs. And so snug as an adjective, as snug as a bug in a rug. So they put it as a three-part rhyme there. As snug as a bug in a rug.
Oh, that's good.
Bug is like a little creature and a rug is like a carpet. So as snug as a bug in a rug.
Very good.
And the next one is mad. And there are lots of mad ones, actually. The animal one is as mad as a March hare. And this hare is H-A-R-E. Sounds the same as hair on your head. Hare is like a rabbit. Imagine a rabbit with longer ears and longer legs. And have you ever seen a March hare? Have you ever seen a hare in March?
No. What do they do?
Well, they go a bit crazy, basically. They do this boxing thing. They fight. They get up on their back legs and they do have a little boxing match with each other. And then they run around in circles, really crazy. And it's something in the air in March. It's the breeding season.
Oh, it's the springtime, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's something to do with the male hares trying to impress the females or something. The same as lots of animals have some sort of ritualized fighting thing that they do when they're trying to find a mate.
Yeah.
I don't mean a mate like a friend. I mean a partner for reproductive purposes. We'll come back to that word later, maybe. So yeah, they appear to be completely mad. The other mad one is the hatter. It's not an animal. A man that used to make hats.
Oh, I was
is a
listening to
hatter.
a program about that the other day. Funny.
And back to Alice in Wonderland, actually.
Because they use this mercurium.
Yeah, they use mercury.
Mercury.
When they used to make hats from beaver skins, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they used mercury, and they used to absorb it into their blood, and it makes you go crazy, apparently.
Yeah.
That's why in Alice in Wonderland, as well as the dodo, there was also the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
And there was the March Hare, yeah?
Yeah.
I think the March Hare was with the Hatter. So they're notoriously a little bit crazy. And then there are some new ones that these are, sometimes people invent these things, which is a great game to play if you want to invent similes. Some that I've heard, like as mad as a box of frogs.
Yeah.
Which if you had a box of frogs, that would be quite mad, I think.
Yeah.
And as mad as a sack of monkeys. A sack of monkeys. That would be quite a mad thing.
We use as mad as a goat.
Yeah, goats.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't think goats are particularly mad.
Not really.
Do they do anything mad?
I don't think
They
so.
run up and down in the mountains. They're quite careless the way they run around on those rocks. They could easily twist an ankle.
Have an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are some mad ones. And then another one that I heard on a TV program, and I thought it was quite funny. This was years ago I heard it, but I made a note of it. And it was as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Those rocking chairs are the ones that old people used to sit in that move backwards and forwards. Yeah, they move. And if you think of being a cat with a long tail in a room full of rocking chairs, you'd be quite nervous.
Yeah.
And he said he was as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. So they're great fun. You can invent your own similes and
very good.
Entertain your friends with your own similes. Another thing that I was thinking about is the fact that sometimes you have a simile and we sort of do a strange reversed thing with the adjective. So there is one that is as dry as a bone, as dry as a bone, but people usually say it was bone dry.
I see.
Meaning it was very dry. And there's also jet black or pitch black. You don't hear people say as black as jet or black as pitch. They normally say jet black, pitch black.
So, what's the difference?
What's the difference? The difference between jet black and pitch black. Jet black is used to describe an object. Something is jet black. So you can say his jacket is jet black, or this girl had jet black hair. Okay? But pitch black is used to describe a lack of light. So you turn all the lights out and you say, in this room, it's pitch black in this room, I cannot see anything.
Yeah.
So that's when you use pitch black, when you cannot see anything.
They have an interesting word.
Yes, and today's interesting word is the word mate, because previously I mentioned as mad as a March hare, and the March hare is looking for a mate. Now, if you watch nature programs on TV, they often show animals looking for a mate. The peacock that we mentioned was displaying to find a mate.
Yeah.
In that case, it's a partner, like a sexual partner, for reproductive purposes. And you can also be the verb to mate as well. Is the act of making babies, if you know what I mean.
Is it related? I was thinking maybe it was related to match. But
I think it could be, yeah. It could be related to match, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so really, if you think about it, mate means partner. to join together. Like couple. Couple is actually a verb to join together as well. Now, sometimes it's used in that sense. Anyway, so mate normally for most people is like a friend.
Yeah.
So if you say, I'm going down the pub to look for a mate, you know, well, you could interpret that in two ways. You could walk into the pub and say, where's John? Has John been in tonight? That sort of looking for a mate. Or you might be looking for a partner for life, for reproductive purposes. So you can talk about your mates, meaning your friends, or sometimes if you're in places like London, they use it as just a greeting if you don't know somebody's name. You say, hello, mate.
Okay.
All right, mate.
Yeah.
They just call each other mates if you don't know their name.
Yeah.
And we use it a lot for partners in situations. So people you work with, for example, are called your workmates.
Yeah.
And if you're studying, you can have classmates or your schoolmates. And you can also use it if you live with people. You could have a housemate if you share a house.
Yeah.
A flatmate if you share a flat.
Yeah.
Or you could just have a roommate if you only share the room with somebody.
Yeah.
A roommate. And then there's a few other ones which maybe are a bit obsolete or a bit rare. But if you are a sailor or a mariner or a fisherman, you could have a shipmate.
Okay.
You don't hear that very often these days, a shipmate.
No.
And a cellmate.
Well, I haven't met anyone.
No, that's because you've never been to prison. But if you were to go to prison, you might have to share the cell with somebody, and they'd be your cellmate.
Yeah.
And then finally, you have soulmate.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is someone who shares your soul. So your perfect partner that thinks and has the same tastes and they enjoy the same things as you do and
You're
think the
half
same
orange.
You're half an orange, as you would say in Spanish. Yes, we don't say that
I
in
think
English.
soulmate sounds a bit more deeper, a bit deeper.
Soulmate sounds very poetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Soulmate.
Yeah. Very good, very good.
Anyway,
Richard.
so that's all of our thing on comparisons then, yeah? I think we've covered everything there.
So, conclusion, try not to compare to others.
Yeah.
Try to look inside.
That's right, yeah. Don't compare yourselves to other people too much because you're probably comparing to people that are much more successful, people that are more wealthy. And don't look at other people's big houses and things like that and say, oh, I wish I had that. Because they're probably not any happier than you are in your little house. Mm-hmm. And be pleased with the things you've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's comparison. That's very interesting with all those similes and things like that.
Very good.
And next week we've got loyalty.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So is there anything else to say?
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And see you next week then, yeah?
See you next week.
That's it. Bye.
Bye.